Good morning, you beautiful people, and welcome to my Turos spot review. Money per hour, experience, skill points, Agris Points, rotations, you know the drill. Pretty much everything there is about this spot should be somewhere in this video. I'm just gonna point this out now. For today I'm gonna try to... there are two rotations I want to show and I will just sprinkle them throughout the video because there's a bunch of stuff I want to say and I'm just gonna use the rotation clips as filler in the background. So if you want to look at the rotations, just check them out when they play. It might even be now in the background. Let's just say I have two rotations to show. I grinded 5 rotations in total, but I'm only going to show 2 of them because those 2 I did the most. All of them are about the same trash per hour, there's no real difference, but I'm going to show 2 of them just for the sake of, in case you want to see them. One of them is the MrRapolas rotation, which is his favorite rotation, and the second one is my favorite rotation. So that being said, let's start talking. First up, we have my class, my gear. If it's not obvious yet from the background, I play a Guardian, a Succession Guardian. I had some hours, 5 to 6 hours when I played Awakening throughout my total of 26 hours. Just because, let's say I prefer Succession, it's my preferred skill tree. I find it easier, I'm used to it, I've been maining Succession for a while now. And I tried Awakening just to see if it can be as efficient. It's supposed to be better from what most people say. I just don't believe it anymore. Maybe I forgot how to play it, but to me, it was always worse. I hated every single Awakening run. I was CC'd way more than on Succession, and it was just so much more stressful. So, Succession all the way for me. I have 26 hours grinded because I was supposed to grind only 10, but I forgot how to say no when MrRapolas asks me, hey, do you want to grind some Turos? I'm like, sure, why not, let's add 10 more hours, I just never knew how to say no and finally stop, so here we are with 26 hours. Gear wise, I have 278 AP with a Dead Black Star, a pen Kutum, and I used to have accuracy crystals, Gene Vipers, until one of them broke, and I broke myself the second one, because I realized with this beautiful calculator that, at least for grinding purposes, I have way more accuracy than I actually need. I'm already at 100% accuracy rate, which means I can go for full-on AP Monkey crystals. I did this, I think after hour 20 or so, I'm showing you my gear as it is now. I didn't record it in time. I have 4 tier 4 and 1 tier 3 pets, but that's pretty much overkill. This place has such a low mob density, you might as well have full tier 1 pets because it's the same thing. For drop rates, I have 12% from knowledge. I have node level 0 because I forgot the node even existed to invest in it. And let's say I have the standards. I have a blue loot scroll, like always. I have a Kamasil blessing, like always. And I had 3 of those event yellow 50% drop rate scrolls from over the weekend for 3 of the hours. And I had 4 hours in which I used the 10th 50% 50 million drop rate buff. No, it wasn't worth it. The first hour with the 10th buff was amazing. So I wanted to use it more because the drops were really good, but the others were just disappointing. So no, the 10th buff, it's not really worth it. Outside of that, rotations, hopefully I already showed both of them, the MrRapolas and my rotation. There's really no difference between any rotation. I get 2,500 trash regardless of where I grind, if I have a decent partner and I pay attention to what I'm doing. The pulls are here and there, there are some pulls. Monsters are ranged, they just throw stones and spears at you, so it's kind of annoying to pull them, but you will figure it out. I believe in you. You're a smart person, you will figure out the pulls yourself for whatever rotation you choose to do. Outside of that, we have the boss event, which I want to quickly touch on because there's something that I feel like most people don't know about it. If you did Turos for at least 1 hour, you know that there is an event similar to the one at Kratuga, where you're going to see a yellow message appearing and a boss will spawn. The first there will be 3 elites that appear. Those 3 elites are just 3 normal monsters. They are literally just normal monsters with a different name and maybe slightly more HP. So just kill those. The elites and the boss spawn outside of normal monster packs, so you don't even have to deal with more monsters, just those 3 elites. Kill those, then the boss Urutaka appears. He is extremely easy to do. At first he seemed interesting to me, but now I'm just like, oh great, he's just a huge piñata with a lot of HP that drops Khafra stones, because he moves extremely slow, he has decent damage, he has some CC, but all you have to do is to just keep on dashing to the back of the boss. You will always do back attacks, you should realistically take a little to no damage, and he's extremely easy to do, in my opinion. There's literally no challenge. As I said, he's just a big piñata. But most people don't know that if you look at your chat, you will see the Urutuka alert as a drop item if your partner gets it, I think. Basically, the boss spawn is this Urutuka alert, which is supposed to be a droppable item. It's a hidden droppable item. And since you do get it as a drop, basically whenever you or your partner get that, if you are within the range of one of the spawn locations for the boss will appear. Since this is kind of a drop item, it should be influenced by item drop rate buffs. So ideally you want your partner to use a loot scroll, maybe a Kamasteel Blessing if you and your partner have it, maybe if there's a drop rate event ongoing, like at the moment after I make this video there's a 50% drop rate event, use that as well. Maybe use the Arsha server if you are brave, maybe pop a tent buff, something. It should help with the boss spawns, just letting you know. The reason why I did 4 or 5 hours with a tent buff is because the first one gave me 6 or 7 boss spawns, so I was really impressed with that. So yeah, it should work. The monsters have decent damage. I feel like most people know, but this is a 270 AP required area. You kind of need more than that anyway. And DP wise, I would recommend around 331. I know Rapolas had 320, so much less when we grinded together, but he got by pretty easily. I mean, he was fine because he was using Calc elixirs and the beast droughts, so if you don't have the best DP in the world, maybe consider using Calc elixirs and beast droughts. It should help, at least on daytime. The monsters on daytime are really manageable, just make sure to avoid their CC spam. It shouldn't be that hard, just use super armors when you should and frontal blocks when you should. The problem is with nighttime. I died a couple of times, sometimes on daytime. Most of them were just a mistake deaths. I got CC'd and I died, or I just dashed through the monsters and I got back attacked and I got chunked from full to 0. On nighttime, I learned the hard way that you should just not grind. If you don't have full pen armors, if you're not over geared, in which case you don't even need this video, just don't grind nighttime. With my full TET armors, with my 336 or 7 DP, and the Calc elixir, I was always using the Calc elixir for nighttime. I still got chunked from full to 0 in less than 1 second. You don't even have time to react. I broke some expensive crystals, and just don't grind nighttime. In my opinion, it's not worth it. You might save yourself 20 minutes or whatever. Just go AFK, do something else. If you break a Gene Viper, you need to grind 2 hours to make the money back for it. So yeah, just don't. So besides that, yeah, let's talk about the money per hour. For money per hour, first of all, we have the pictures. Just admire them. It's just 4 small pictures in case you visually want to see most of what I got up to hour 20. The reason why there are 4 of them is because I was broke and I broke some crystals. Let's say I needed money desperately, so I sold. I cleared the bank a couple of times, and after hour 20 I just stopped. I had individual 1-hour sessions, and it just wasn't worth it for me to put that many screenshots in here, since this is just supposed to give you a visual representation. I'm probably not even gonna keep them on screen because it will make the rest of the text too small. Besides that, this is the breakdown for the 26 hours. with all of the relevant items. We have trash, hearts, embers, blackstones, caphras, and dust for each individual hour, if it's relevant. On the left side, a small summary of the relevant things like the Agris runs. When I dropped the belts, I had only 3 belts in total. This is the overpowered striker run, which, should I even mention it? I had one run with a 700 gear score striker, I remember, and we had duel for spot. It was my first awakening run, so I was pretty much garbage. I didn't even know how to play my class, and he wanted to duel for spot. I was literally useless. He just 1v2'd the other dudes, and then on the entire 1.5 hours of grinding, I just felt like I was a retard who didn't know how... Should I even use that word? I basically didn't even know what to do with my class. I was getting CC'd every single pack. It was just, oh my god. Outside of that, we have some more Agris runs, the 10th buff runs if it's relevant, and yeah. On the right side, we have my partners, which in most cases it was Rapolas. He was my main partner. Then we have, you know, I have a Guildy, Spacey, Zeus, my Padix partner, and some randoms in between. If you guys don't know who Rapolas is, you should definitely check him out. His stream, in my opinion, is funnier than mine. It's more entertaining than mine, and his YouTube channel is also really good. And also, he's an amazing person himself, you know, as a person. He's a really good person. Did I drill that point into the ground? So yeah, just check him out if you have the time. Other than that, let's look at the money per hour. So, in terms of a breakdown, about 30 dust per hour, 10 Caphra stones per hour drop rate. So, I would say maybe 16-ish average Caphra stones per hour. These are heavily influenced by the bosses. So, if I don't get any bosses in 1 hour, I will see maybe 3 Caphra stones. If I get a lot of them, I will see 20. So, you know, the more bosses you spawn, the more Caphra stones you will get. It's really dependent on the boss spawns. Black stones about 140 per hour total. I would say the average is a little bit less if you don't use 10th buff for a few runs. You know, with just the loot scroll, it's probably about 120-ish, like these runs, I would say. The trash is meh, it's not amazing. I should point out, for all of these runs with the Agris points, I did divide by 2 the trash for the money per hour. So as you can see, the average is about 2,500. Whatever run I had with Agris points, I did not include the extra trash from the Agris into the money per hour. The average money per hour was 141 million silver. Funny enough, yesterday when I looked at this Excel file, it was 144, so I suppose prices went down. And if you want to use Agris points, it's about 185. Now, this is kind of unrealistic, because I should delete the embers. You're grinding Turos mainly for the embers, so there's no chance you're going to sell those for 5 million each. And also the belts, I did get 3 belts in 26 hours, but I hear stories from a bunch of people that they didn't even get 1 belt in 15 hours. So realistically, for 1 hour of grinding, you're not going to drop a belt and you're not going to sell your embers, in which case you're looking at 106 million silver. Really disappointing, isn't it? On top of this, just take out the money you have to spend to grind here in the first place. I was using event calcs, but if you have to buy them from the market, it's 8 million silver each. So that's easily another 20 million silver you have to cut out of this just to grind safely. So realistically, you're looking at maybe 80 to 90 million silver profit, which is really bad. Again, this place is not a money maker. I would just compare this to any of the other potion pieces in the game. You grind Turos for a very specific reason, which is after this week's maintenance, for the costume piece, for the dead god piece, and there was something else that drops here that I forgot. Oh yeah, the hearts. For the Garmoth Heart Questline. So you get the hearts for the questline, you get the embers for the dead god piece and the costume piece, and that's pretty much it. You grind for 3 rare items. It's not a money area. It's just like Blood Wolves, you know? You grind Blood Wolves for the infinite potion piece, not because it makes you a lot of money, which it really doesn't. Outside of money per hour, let's talk about experience. So, I'm not going to bore you with the boring chart this time. I did have a couple of sessions in which I tested experience, I think 3 sessions in total. In all of them I used the 500% experience scroll, and I regret it so much now, because Turos experience wise is quite literally at the bottom of the chart. The experience here is garbage. Just, you know, the bar will barely move. All I can say is don't use experience scrolls, just don't use anything that gives you extra experience, because it's not worth it. For skill points, it's pretty much the same story. In this case, it's even worse. For skill points, it actually is at the bottom of the chart. Not even Sherekhan Necropolis Nighttime can save it. Skill points might as well be 0. So, skill points and experience, just don't come here expecting to level up. Don't come, if you are level 61, if you need skill points, go somewhere else. If you want to hit level 63 and you're aiming to get to 63, just go somewhere else. Go to Thornwood, because that's much better experience. And then the last thing left would be Agris Points. For Agris Points, again, I'm not going to bore you with a boring chart. I had 8 hours in which I tested Agris Points, so my average should be really accurate in my opinion. And out of 8 hours, the Turos is about here. It's using about 16.4 thousand Agris Points per hour, which is really good, because this is really low. You know, you can grind at least 1 hour every single day at Turos, which is good. In terms of efficiency, the second chart, my favorite one, this basically ranks the spots in terms of using the least amount of points to make the most amount of money. So it should be ideally as high up as possible, and it pretty much is. If I said last time that Thornwood is really efficient because it's better than Mirmok, in this case Turos is even more efficient than Centaurs, which used to be my favorite. So it's pretty much at the top of the chart. I would say Turos is one of, if not the most efficient area in the game for Agris Points. So if you can grind Turos, I would recommend you to save up your points. Maybe, do something for 5 days, go offline, max out your Agris Points, and then spend 6 to 7 hours to burn them at Turos. This is kind of the best area to use Agris Points. In terms of Silver Maid, it's not the best, like it's not gonna be Thornwood with 200 million silver per hour, just because you don't get a lot of trash, and in my opinion the trash is just not a big money maker. You're making 92 million silver per hour from trash alone, if this number is relevant to you. This is pretty much the 300%, so Agris Points, loot scroll, and normal drop rate. So if you're using loot scroll and Agris Points, you will make literally just 92 million silver from trash. And that pretty much concludes my video. There's nothing else I should really talk about. As a conclusion, I will say Turos is really good. It's one of my current favorite grinding spots, especially since it's a duo area. If I have a partner, which I have a lot of them recently, then it's a really enjoyable place. I like it aesthetically, I like it mechanically, the drops are exciting. For once I'm happy this is not a money maker spot, because I'm getting a bit tired of all of these new areas being released, and it's like, oh look, we have a new spot in the game that is now the best money in the game. Let's all move here and live the rest of our lives at this new area. Turos is nice because for once it has a purpose to exist. You go to Turos for the Dead God piece, for the costume piece, and for the Garmoth Heart Questline, not to make money. It has a purpose. Once you get all of those items, you can move on with your life and go somewhere else. You're not stuck to Turos for the rest of your Black Desert existence. So in that respect it's nice, and again, it looks really appealing to me. The monsters are annoying to pull, yes, maybe it will get changed in the future, but you'll learn to deal with it over time. And I will leave it at that. Thanks for watching, hope this was useful, enjoyable. Again, just I don't know where I was going with that. I will see you next time with a different video. Until then, stay happy as always, do your thing, play the game at your own pace, grind whatever you want, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.